Welcome back to another video, and I really thought that I would have moved on from a few weeks ago to when I finished doing all of the mending that I had for my family. Turns out, as soon as I finished that video, it was like it came out of the abyss, this just flood of new pants with holes in them. I honestly don't know where it came from. Now it feels like I fixed a bunch of things around my house that now I'm noticing more things that I need to fix. And these videos are probably the best way for me to get work done around my house because it kind of pushes me to do it. So what we're going to do today is some more mending around my house, plus some alterations that I have for friends and family and for work. And you know what? Just on top of everything, we're going to time it to see how long it actually takes me to do all of this work. I'm not sure I can get it all done in one day, but we're going to try our best and see that we can get it done in the next few days. But let's just see what the task list is. I have 4 more pairs of pants and clothing that have holes in them or are starting to have holes in them, so I need to patch them up and kind of reinforce any parts that are kind of starting to split so that I do not get a hole in them for the future. So my friend has given me 1 pair of pants that she needs altered, which is a very, very easy quick fix, as well as a dress that she wants to wear for a vacation. I just need to repin the straps and also fix the waistline, so that should be easy enough. I also have some stuff for my grandparents. Hi grandma, hi grandpa if you're watching this. They just, I guess, are shrinking. So we have some pants that we need to hem, as well as one of the waistbands needs to be taken in. And then for the last things that I've been given to alter, I need to take you over here, so just come with me. So this is the pull-up bar / turned into a clothing rack that I use for my sewing room. I have too much stuff in there that I just can't fit a clothing rack in there anymore. If you've seen any of the other content, and especially the stuff that I posted this summer, I make dance costumes and I do alterations for the dance studio. So these are some alterations that they need done quickly because they want to practice with these costumes for rehearsal. One last thing, I have my favorite pair of striped socks. We're gonna see if we can fix this hole, but that's the work that I have today. So let's start the timer and see how long each project is going to take me. I'm starting off with doing these costume alterations because they're fairly simple. I'm adding these beige elastic straps to the dresses so that they have some more support for the dancers. The part that takes the longest is honestly just doing all of them. I believe I did 7 dresses and each dress has 2 straps, so 14 straps, cutting the elastic, sewing them on, pinning them to the backside. I like starting off with alterations that are super easy because it just really revs me up to get going for the rest of them. The next one is a little bit more complicated. They bought a bunch of these pants that are really pretty with the gradient from blue to cream, but they didn't come in the correct sizes. So a lot of these pants are way too big for these kids. So I've already pinned where I need to hem them, so I just need to cut off the bottom and then also adjust the waistbands. Because these kids might grow, I'm not cutting off any extra material in the waistband, I'm just sewing them up so that they can practice in them. So that's why I need to get them done fast so that they can practice in them and be prepared for stage. The next thing I have to alter for the dance studio are these black jackets. They gave me a bunch of these costume necklaces that I can cut up and hide in all of these jackets so that it looks like they're all trying to steal a necklace. The teacher wants them to be able to practice with these jackets to make sure that the concept and the choreography work with the dance. The easiest ones are just done by opening up the pockets and then hand stitching a square around the pocket to create a new pocket in the lining. The harder ones are making new pockets inside the lining of the jackets so that they can open them up and then take the jewelry out so that it's hidden at some points and then being able to be shown at other points. This is the part of making costumes that I really like. I like being able to not only have pretty dresses or costumes on stage, but being able to have practical costumes that enhance the dance and show the theme of it. As much as it can be just a lot of work for 3-minute dance, it's something that needs to be done, and I'm very happy that I can help out. The last thing that I needed to do for this costume was add magnets to the jackets. They need to be able to open and close the jackets. We discussed several options with Velcro, magnets, and snaps, and we believe that the way that they need to use the jackets, magnets might be the best option. Instead of me putting magnets in all 6 jackets, I want to just do 1 jacket so that they can practice in it to make sure that this is the route that we're going to go and that it will work. Because if I'm going to put magnets into jackets and then it's not going to work, then I'll have to go back to the drawing board. But that was a ton of work, so now we're on to day 2. Ignore the dishwasher, it's time to tackle my friend's projects. I have 3 pairs of pants that need to be hemmed, 1 pair of pants also needs the waist taken in, and 1 dress that needs the straps altered, and some excess material taken out of the bust. We're continuing this mending saga with The Haunting of Hill House episode 2, so I am ready to sit back, relax, and enjoy a healthy dose
of Haunting of Hill House.
I like to prep everything at the start, cutting off all of the extra material, leaving about an inch worth for my hem. And for the dress, I'm just pinning the straps, making sure that they're evenly placed along the back edge. For yoga pants or anything that's stretchy, I can just leave the hem raw. For everything else, I can use my serger. For some reason, when it came to hemming all of these pants, I tried using my twin needle, but for some reason, I don't know why, the first pair of pants, it went great. The second pair of pants, it kept skipping the one needle side. And it didn't matter if I switched out to a different twin needle, it just kept doing the same thing over and over again and bunching up my lower bobbin thread. So, I've never really had this issue before on my last machine. It worked for the first pair of pants I did on this machine, so I'm not really sure why it's happening this time. So if anyone can explain to me why this happened, I really need to use my twin needle in the future, and I don't know how to fix this. I finished off hemming the rest of the pants with a skinny zigzag stitch so that it still had a bit of stretch. After that, I finished off the dress by lessening the amount of fabric that was for the bust so that it wouldn't bunch as much. I like combining projects that all use the same thread all at once, just so that I don't have to go back and forth switching threads and in and out. The last thing that I noticed on these pants was that the little clasp was falling off, so I just did some hand stitching to secure it back into place. The reason why this one took a lot longer than it should have was because I was fiddling with that twin needle for so long, but we got the job done. Now we're on to day 3.
We're on the home stretch. I just have stuff that I need to fix for myself and my family. So we've got some socks, a pair of pants, some holes that need to be patched up in my jumpsuit, and a few more pairs of pants. Because we always need to be mending some pairs of pants in this family, apparently. Let's do it.
I've had this linen jumpsuit for a while, and I just noticed the other day that there are some wearing holes along the side of these pockets. Now, originally I would just ignore it, but because now I know how fast I can mend things, I just decided to reinforce these little pieces with some of the pants remnants that I cut off from the day before. It took me about 6 minutes, and now I don't have to worry about holes happening there in the future. When it comes to these kids' pockets, they infuriate me. I don't know why they put these types of pockets in the back of these pants. One, they started to rip holes in the side of them, so I'm just sewing the pockets closed to begin with. And they had all this extra material on the bottom that would always puff up and look really weird, so I'm just cutting them off with my pinking shears. Now that's one thing off my mind. We're getting into jean territory. I open up the side seams like I did last time. I cut off some pieces of a pair of jeans that my husband had donated to the cause, and I just reinforced the knees of my son's jeans. And then I also cut another patch to put into my jeans because I noticed that there was a hole starting at the bottom of my jeans, which I don't think anyone wants a hole there, so we're gonna fix that. I started going in with my sewing machine, but quickly realized that that was not the way to go, especially for how thick the seams were. I really didn't want to break a needle, so I put that to the side and finished off patching up my son's jeans first, closing up the sides, and then his were fully done. When I got back to my jeans, I decided to just hand sew them down, so I'm just reinforcing the side seams of all 4 corners of the pants, and now I feel really good about these pants having a longer lifetime. The last thing that I have on my list is just these socks. I love these socks so much, and I would like to learn how to knit properly fitted socks in the future, but until then, I'm just going to try and mend the socks that I have. This first sock was just wearing a little bit at the heel, so I decided to just reinforce it before it got as bad as the other sock. It took me about 3 minutes, which made me really happy, so then I started on the second sock, which was obviously a lot more damaged. There are proper ways of darning these socks, which I probably could have done, but because the stitches are so tiny and my eyes are not that good, I'm just going to do my best. I wanted the inside to be smooth so that the stitches aren't going to be rubbing against my heel, so that is why there is more bulk on the outside, but that's just for my preference. But I'm going to be better at mending socks in the future now that I know that it only takes me a few minutes to actually do them.
We've come to the end of the video, and I'm so happy to have all of this mending done and off my list. There's something about having just a big pile of mending that you have the intentions to finally get it done another day, and finally when you see the pile growing way past the point of your comfort, you're like, yeah, I probably should do that now. What I've learned since my last video Putting all of these projects together makes it a bigger project compared to just taking one task at a time and fixing it on the spot. Aside from the sewing alterations that I had to do for the dance studio, all of my personal projects I was able to do under in half an hour. The one that took the longest was the pair of jeans that I had that I just had to add a patch for reinforcement. And the only reason why that one took me so long was because I did it by hand. I probably could have done it on my sewing machine. With that area, it's kind of hard to lay it flat, and I really don't mind doing the hand sewing when it's just time for me to sit down and relax. Everything else took under 15 minutes, and really, like, if I have a pair of socks that need mending at the end of the day, I can sit down and watch TV or just relax, and 5 minutes and both socks are done. So I've hoped you put this video on to inspire you to mend all of your projects, because I know I'm not the only person with a mending pile that needs to be tackled, but we tackle it one video at a time apparently. In my last video, I took button-up shirts from the thrift store and challenged myself to make something new. I really liked having that challenge. It kind of inspired me to be more creative with how I go to the thrift store. So I asked you if you would like to see anything, and a few of you replied that you'd like to see more t-shirts and knit fabric scrap. That's really how I got my start with sewing when I was a little kid. I would go to the thrift store, pick out some shirts that I really like the colors of, and I would make dresses out of them. We all got to start somewhere, and I think using thrifted materials is the perfect way to practice your sewing. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe down below. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.